Good morning, 4:37, turning to farm news now. While Washington's wildfires are in the headlines, California's drought has been raging for years. Farmers there doing what they can to cut back on water use, but it can come at a very steep price. Reporter Nick Jane shows us the hidden cost of conservation.
There's more to these tomatoes than meets the eye. Drip irrigation runs underground, underneath all these acres on Blake Harlan's Woodland Family Farm, cutting back on water use 30%.
Leading into the drought, we're using less water than we ever have.
Energy efficient, intelligent pumps like this one make a difference too. With old pumps, Blake says it was like driving a car at top speed, always. Now he can choose the speed, or in other words, how much water is used.
With the variable frequency drive, we can turn down the motor and use less electricity.
But this stuff isn't cheap. Like so many farmers, Blake is looking for ways to save as much water as he can. But that water efficiency has a side effect. It's driving his energy costs up. To soften the blow, Blake is partnering with PG&E. The utility giant's energy efficiency rebate programs are more popular than ever with farmers. Just last year, PG&E says growers used 40% more energy.
That shows you that the farmers are really trying to access that groundwater that's deeper, and they have to use more energy in order to do it.
The utility offers a variety of programs to drive down agriculture's water and energy use. In 2014, PG&E paid out $6.5 million in incentives to support investments made by 600 ag customers in its service area. Blake isn't stopping there. He's one of the first farmers in the area to install solar panels to provide power for a huge chunk of his operation, about 50%. It's an upfront expense this longtime family farmer believes will be well worth it in the long run.
It's a delicate balance that we're playing here because right now water is our most limited resource.
Pacific Gas and Electric says it's paid nearly $100,000 in incentives to Harlan farms over the past 5 years, saving enough energy to run hundreds of homes. Like many Californians, though, most Cubans are suffering from a year-long drought. Now the government is alerting its civil defense system. Civil defense authorities say the drought, record heat, and water leakage have led to low levels of available water for people, agriculture, and industry. According to that government's data, 24 reservoirs are only 30% capacity. Because of the country's outdated infrastructure, 50% of the water being pumped is lost to leaks. Among the hardest hit area, the western province of Pinar del Rio, where most of the country's tobacco crop is grown. The drought taking its toll on Cuba's famous cigars, sugar, vegetables, rice, coffee, and beans. Last couple of days, I was down in Mitchell, South Dakota for Dakota Fest, the third fastest growing farm show in the U.S. I caught up with that state's climatologist for a fall harvest forecast.
September right now is looking kind of nondescript. Not too much we can say about that one way or the other. The new 30-day and 90-day outlooks just came out today, and they're kind of consistent that way. But if you look at the 3-month period, September, October, November, that's a much more interesting discussion, especially in the South Dakota side. Maybe a little bit of North Dakota has a better chance of being wetter during that September, October, November time period. So, and from a temperature side, there's still not too much we can say about temperature. So if you're, wet at this point, I've been saying to people, we're getting late in the season for you to dry out very much, and with a better chance of wetter than average conditions, that could be causing some problem for at least wet soils, for dealing with wet soils. From a dry down standpoint, I still think we're okay with dry down. Crop progress has been good enough that we're not going to be waiting too long for this, and people obviously don't want to dry any more than they need to because it's just another cut in their profits this year. But I am a bit concerned about some of the places getting in and out of fields because we are getting wetter, and that's not going to stop. We're not going to have too much on the dry side, and more likely places that are on the wetter side as we get into harvest season.
Well, with abundant soil moisture and now late summer warm temperatures, South Dakota State Extension rangeland specialist is urging cattle producers to be careful not to overgraze their pastures.
We need grass to grow grass. You need to have leaf area in order to take that sunlight in, to take advantage of that sunlight, that rain, and put that into roots, which in turn is going to help your plant grow. And we've got a wonderful growing season year here. And what I become a little dismayed at is when I see pastures overgraze because I know those producers aren't able to take advantage of all this water and all this sunshine that we've had this year.
Well, Monday morning, Pete will give his formula for maximizing growth of pasture grasses. Time is 4:42. Right after the break, we'll come back and check where the rain is and the likelihood and the focus area for thunderstorms this weekend.